guys, just want to give you a quick update. As you can see, I got the roll cage on, and it's all bolted on. It's tight. It ain't going anywhere. Now, what I do want to show you is something that you can do with heat shrink tubing to protect yourself from getting snagged on rusty bolts and saving yourself a little bit of pain and a trip to the doctor for a tetanus shot. Now, up here, if you notice, I've got little rubber caps on here, and the way I made them is with the heat shrink tubing. And the best way to do it, some of you may not know, but for the ones who don't, what you want to do is find a piece of heat shrink tubing that will just fit over the end of the bolt, and with a pair of scissors, cut it off. And of course, take your magic heat source, whether it be a lighter, small torch, whatever, heat it up, and there you go. Instant rubber cap that'll save you from a lot of scratches. And the fun part about this is when you need to take the bolt off, loosen the nut up, the nut will push the cap off. And if you don't want to go through the trouble of that, thinking maybe it might get stuck in the threads, take you a little knife, cut it with a pair of pliers, you can pull it right off, no problem. Now I've done that up here, I've done it back here on both sides, and as you've seen in the demonstration, I just did it there. Now they do carry heat shrink tubing in multiple sizes, so if you have bigger bolts, you can take one of the bolts with you and try out the tubing until you find the size that you need, and save yourself a few cuts, scrapes, will keep your blood inside your body, and you'll be good to go. Now, alternatively, you could pre-shrink the tubing, but I find that more of a pain sliding it over the end of the bolt. Because if you pre-shrink it too far, then you have to cut that piece off and start over. So get your bolts in, find the right size, put it over the end of it, and you're good to go. Now see, this one is just a little bit more of a pain, so what I like doing is taking the scissors, and as everybody knows, scissors has a tendency of having a wedge shape. You can stretch it just a little bit. That way, if you find one that's not quite big enough, and when it heats up, it shrinks, if you stretch it enough, you can get it to fit over the end of your bolt, especially if you get one that's a little bit of an odd size, let's say metric versus standard. Oh, first time I've ever seen rubber molding do this.
Yeah, it's starting to
turn into Play-Doh, basically.
I don't know.
But you get the general idea. Looks like I'm going to have to get a piece a little bit bigger than this to go over these front two, which is fine. I can do that later on. And where this is located, I'm not too worried about scratching hand, foot, elbow, or anything like that. So, yeah, still, no break yet, but I will be getting one very soon. Probably later on this week I'll be ordering it. Now on the Murrays with the motor plate, everybody that has seen one of these or knows of one of these, this plate is pretty thick for a motor plate. It's actually a good thing that they did make them as thick as they did. Now, I ran into a situation the other night, and for the life of me, I was thinking, oh, I'm going to have to replace the chain because it's stretched, or take out a link. But I didn't realize that at the time, didn't think about it. Motor plate slides. 2 bolts here, 2 bolts in the front, and you can slide it and adjust it. And that'll give you your chain tension on your sprockets. Like I said, I didn't think about it too much, so it didn't occur to me until about 35 minutes ago. So no biggie, everything will work out great. As far as the roll cage with the 420, when I set this up, I didn't have the roll cage on here. So as far as proper placement for the engine versus everything else, the motor cover was being in the way, and it was keeping me from putting the cage on. So I took the little protective cover off, and I plan on putting it back, but I'm going to have to cut a corner out of it because it just barely misses it. I'm going to have to cut this whole corner right here off. Make a big round circle just on this one corner. Once I do that, then I can put it back on. No big deal. So, recap, we can use heat shrink tubing to cover the bolts that extend out to keep, fingers from getting torn up. Now, Axar, I know you've seen this, and I think Nevis, I'm not real sure, but I think you've seen this. Anybody who's watched any of my live streams, I do have a live stream where at the very beginning I'm holding this up in front of the camera. I plan on putting this on the Murray. Also, I plan on putting it on one of my other go-karts as well. So, what I plan on doing once I get my welder is put a plate right here, and this is going on it. I'm kind of toying with the idea of putting, some red, green, blue LED lights on it, just around this on the front, which I have in the house, and I need to go get, so give me just a second. But anyway, like I was saying, I had to go inside and get them, and in the process, my camera decided to fill up, so I had to take care of that real quick. Anyway, I got these. Now these are the aux beam knockoffs that I plan on putting on here. These are the Flood model. Got it on eBay. I think they were like $15, something like that. And it's not the plastic cap on the end. It's aluminum. The whole thing is made out of aluminum, the outer case and everything. I plan on possibly putting them up here somewhere, fixating them out. Haven't decided exactly where I'm going to put them at. Probably put them up a little high. That way I don't wind up knocking them off accidentally while I'm out in the trails with a bush, or if I mount it too low, I wind up kicking it with my foot and not breaking them out, and I don't want to do that either. So I'll probably put them up here somewhere. That's going to be a future update on that. One thing to note is that everything I do comes out of my pocket, just like you, Nevis, Axar, T-Man, and a lot of you other ones that's not being sponsored by other websites. Having sponsorship is nice. I mean, it gives you a way to build new stuff, to show everybody how it can be built, what you have in mind, your inventions, your thoughts, things that you can do to either help out others or simply have fun with. See, man, you do a lot of that. So do you. Nevis, you guys, y'all rock. Axar, You do a lot of stuff. With your welding, tool reviews, everything that you do does not go unnoticed. At least by me anyway. And I know there's a lot of people out there that watch your channel. I know it is. I can see your subscription status. I can see your view counts. There's a lot of people that pay attention to you. Might be some negative comments. I look forward to them. Criticism. It helps me grow. Yeah, it can be frustrating to read what other people put on there, or even in videos, as we've had recently. Not everybody is scared to do certain things, but at the same time, they don't want to wind up losing everything they've got as far as what they have tied up into it. Yeah, $100 here, $100 there, $200 here, $200 there. May not sound like a whole lot, but to a lot of people, that is. $100 to me, that's a lot. Some of you, it's not that bad. Pocket change to some. To others, it's just a matter of going out and getting the work done and getting paid for it. And that's where my money comes from. I go out, I bust my backside. As you can tell, I ain't got much back there, so I do a lot of work. And it takes a while, especially if you got certain people taking extra money out of your check every 2 weeks. Makes it even harder. Makes it even harder to live, let alone having anything, especially something like this, that pulls money out of your pocket, whether you want it to or not. I've heard some people say, in order to have fun, you got to spend a little money. Yeah, sometimes, but not all the time. Just depends on the kind of fun you want to have. But anyway, what I plan on doing with this, I'm going to have tail lights on it, brake lights on it, maybe a set of multicolored changing lights for the emblem. Definitely going to put floodlights on it, that way when I do night riding or anything of that nature, flip the switch, I can have lights, I can see what I'm doing. I would, however, like to get my hands a hold to a couple of spotlights instead of just floods, that way I can see further down the road, or further into the woods for that matter, just because. Floodlights, they can have a tendency of highlighting certain things, but when you can't see distinct shadows very good at night, you might wind up hanging a root, tree branch, limb, something of that nature. And that's where having a combination of flood and spotlights help out a lot. Now, as far as the seatbelt on the Murray goes, I had a little bit of an incident with it, and that's what caused a whole lot of my problems with the motor plate, the alignment of the chain, and things of that nature. So I will be trying to locate a new seatbelt for it, whether it be out of a vehicle of some type or another, or maybe aftermarket. I don't know yet. I'll search around, see what I can find on eBay, and go from there. But for now, let's have some fun.